Hi, I'm Sarah, and since it's king cake season in Louisiana, I figured I would show you how to make my king cake. And the bread dough for this recipe is about the best you would ever eat, and it was handed down to me by my sister Shirley. The first thing that I'm going to do is add 4 cups of plain flour to the mixing bowl. And then I'm going to add 1 pack of rapid rise yeast. This is Larry, my husband, and he's going to show you the ingredients that we'll need to make the king cake.
You got 2/3 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2/3 cup of cooking oil, 1 cup of mashed potatoes, 2 eggs, and 1 cup of milk.
First thing I'm going to do is scald my milk, and what you do is just let it come to a boil and then turn it off. The first thing I'm going to do is add my mashed potatoes. And you're going to mix this real well. And then you're going to add your sugar and your salt and your oil. And just mix this up real good. And then you're going to put your eggs in here. And you're just going to mix this all real good. Okay, now we're ready to mix it to the dry ingredients. Now I'm going to take this liquid ingredients and I'm going to pour it into the dry and put it on low speed. Now I'm going to turn this to the next speed and get a little faster with it, and I'm going to mix this for 6 minutes. Okay, now it's ready. Okay, now I've placed the dough on a piece of wax paper, and I just added a little more flour. And sometimes you need to knead it just a little bit more. But this looks pretty good. And then I'm going to place it over in a bowl, a large bowl that has been oiled. And then you just put a little bit of oil on the top of it too. And it's ready to put in the refrigerator overnight. Cover mine up with press and seal. But if you don't have any, you can just cover it up with a large dish towel. Okay, as you can see, the dough has doubled in size. And now we're ready to make the rolls. And the first thing you're going to do is beat this down real good, just like this. And now it's ready to put on to the wax paper. And what I've done, I take 2 pieces of wax paper together and floured it, and now I'm ready to start my rolls. Okay, we're going to put some flour on the top of this, and I also take a little bit and I put on the rolling pin. And then you just start rolling. As you see, I rolled it out, and it's probably about a 1/4 inch thick. And the next thing we're going to do is brush butter. I've melted 1/2 stick of butter, and we're going to brush it real good with butter. I'm going to sprinkle sugar on here, and this is about 1/2 cup of sugar, but you might not need all of it. And then we're going to sprinkle it with cinnamon. Okay, now I'm going to start rolling this dough up in a tight roll. You're going to get it as tight as you can. And just kind of stretch it as you go. Now I've oiled the pan real good, and I'm going to take this roll and I'm going to put it over in the pan. And you want to make sure the folded part is down underneath. And then you're going to stretch it as much as you can. And then we're going to connect it together. Just open one end and fold it over like that. Stretch it a little bit more. Now I'm going to brush butter on this. And then we're just going to set it aside in a warm place. And we're going to let it rise about 2 hours till it doubles in size. If you want to help this rise a little faster, you can turn your oven on just long enough to get it warm and then turn it off. And set this bread inside the oven, and it'll help it rise fast. Okay, I did place my bread in a warm oven, and it actually only took 30 minutes, and you see how it's doubled in size? Now I'm ready to bake it. Okay, while my bread is baking, I went on and mixed up the sugars. And what I did was use 1/2 cup of sugar in each baggie. And then I just squirted a few drops of food coloring and mixed it together. And I used green and yellow and purple. And I didn't have any purple, so I just mixed some red and blue. Okay, as you can see, the bread is ready for the next step. And I forgot to mention it before, but you bake it on 300 degrees. And it actually only takes about 20 minutes. So when it turns brown like this, you know it's ready. And I always stick a toothpick in mine just to make sure it comes out clean. Now we're starting to make the filling, which is the best part of the whole cake. And what you're going to need is 2 packs of cream cheese, 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of sour cream, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And you're just going to beat this till it gets good and smooth, and then it'll be ready to put into the cake. Okay, the next thing we're doing is slicing the king cake right down, about halfway down, and you're going to do it with a very sharp knife. And this is how we're going to put the filling in the cake. Okay, I've placed the filling in a gallon baggie, and you just cut a little tiny hole in one of the corners, and you're going to take a spatula and you're going to raise this up, and you're just going to squirt this filling up in the hole there. Just like that. Now you see where the cream cheese filling's in it? You're just going to go around and press the edges down. Just like that. The first thing I'm going to do now is put the baby. And just raise up a piece of the king cake like this and hide that baby up in there. And the purpose of this is the first person that gets this baby is going to have to make the first cake. So if you don't like to make king cake, don't try to get this baby. And then I'm going to start putting the icing on here. The ingredients for my icing was 2 cups of confectioners sugar, 4 tablespoons of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And now I'm going to start putting my sprinkles on here. This is the fun part of making king cakes, is the decorating. Now this is the finished project. We ready to eat some. Yum, yum. I made a little sample for my husband. Let's see what he thinks.
That's some kind of good king cake.